get to the place where amidst the clamor of life, you realize that life really boils down to the sum of the moments which are defined by the people around us. And so true living is defined not by what we have, but by who we have with us by that time. And so for me, friendships define the real meaning of life. It defines what life is supposed to be, the quality of life, and ultimately describes our journey, not only here on earth, but more so even as we journey on to the celestial shores of heaven. So for me, friendship is inextricably related to not only well-being, but also just the general idea of living. I think that's actually a very common occurrence in most friendships. You realize most friendships are in a sense transactional, in the sense that what am I gaining from this person, and when I stop gaining, then I stop being their friend. I think for the most part that is a very wrong perception to have about friendships, because friendships then become very empty and meaningless. Because once you can easily be dispensed of once your purpose in that person, as in essentially as they perceive it, your purpose in their life is done once they have stopped gaining whatever they need to gain. I believe friendships need to get to the place where they're more other-centered than self-centered, in the sense that as I define a friendship, the real question I need to ask myself is, what really am I giving rather than what am I receiving? What do I stand to give? How am I making this person's life better? And I believe friendship is all about other-centeredness. When you get to the place where you're not keeping people genuinely as assets, but rather you're there in their life because you are making their lives a little bit better. It's not about what they give to you, but rather what you offer to them to actually make their sojourn here on earth just a little bit better. I believe that really defines what true friendship is supposed to be. That's a bit of a tricky question, because I think it's also very highly dependent on the nature of the friendship, in the sense that I think living in this fast-paced society where everyone is ever so quick to cut people off, we've been taught to define these things as just getting to the place where if I am even slightly offended by someone, I am ready to give it all up. We have been taught that if that person, if you're not feeling that person's vibe anymore, just for a minute, cut them off and move on. And I don't think that's what friendship is supposed to be, because it makes friendship very, 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 very shallow, because that means you'll just be living, waiting for the next time they'll offend you and you're ready to cut them off. I believe friendships are defined by the principles that are outlined. If you'll allow me to just mention a text, there's this text in scripture in 1 Corinthians 13 that defines love, and the entire chapter talks about it essentially from verse 3. But there's a part that says, love is patient, love is kind, love is long-suffering, and heavy on the long-suffering, in the sense that if love is genuine, then love must endure. But you see, the other thing is that the same chapter says love rejoices not in evil, in the sense that you can also love is not an excuse to ignore red flags. And so I believe it's a very delicate balance. And for me, this is speaking as Nyabuti personally, the only time I get to a place where I am ready to just finally end a friendship is where I have actually genuinely done the best that I could to remedy the situation, but the other party is not at all interested in doing better, in becoming better.